This podcast is brought to you by Cushy CBD from California's top edible brand, Cushy Punch. If you don't know what's going on with CBDs, I'll tell you right now. They are known to help with pain relief, to reduce blood sugar levels, to reduce inflammation, to be a natural alternative to opioids or muscle relaxants. And also the CBD vapes are known to help smokers quit smoking. Cushy CBD oils are also extensively tested to make sure that there's no microbial impurities, solvents, pesticides, or heavy metals, just all natural, organic, kosher CBD. The LA-based brand is also ranked number 1 with MedMen, and they give back to the community through Cushy Care, working with LA's Wildlife Way Station, replanting trees, and food banks. Go to CushyCBD.com and put in the coupon code BERTCBD at checkout to get 20% off. That is CushyCBD.com and put in the coupon code BERTCBD to get 20% off. Thanks, Cushy Care. Now, let's start the podcast. God damn it. I wish I had not been angry at Isla when she just shot me with water.
Me too. Anytime I force my fiance to film me, I'm like, no, that's not right. I just look so miserable.
I literally was like, hey guys, I need you to, oh, here's Leanne. Leanne's
like,
not
I'm
done
doing
with
you the favor.
Sorry. Where's your computer charger? Is it here?
It's in here.
I need a Leanne.
Fucking everyone needs a Leanne.
That's what I need.
Leanne needs
You really do. You really do.
Leanne, I will tell you this, behind her back, but
obsessed with
she's
her.
got a secret crush on you. Like, she just thinks you're fucking phenomenal. She really does. Like, there's very few people that she genuinely, like, when you text me the other day and you go, oh my God, that is me in bed.
Same person.
Yeah. I told Leanne, and then she gets excited.
Or no, actually, we're not similar because I would have divorced you a long time ago. Because of that side.
I would have cheated on me so long ago. I'm fucking so frustrating.
No, I think you'd be able to cheat on me. I wouldn't care. It's the nightstand yard sale that you've got going.
I enjoy chaos a tad bit. Someone was explaining, maybe it was stand up or art. Art is chaos organized.
I like that.
Yeah. And I was like, because I'm obsessed with art right now of like, what is the purpose?
Yeah.
And like a higher meaning, like what is the purpose of what we do?
Yeah.
Fantastic special, by the way.
Thank you.
Fantastic special.
Thank you.
If you guys haven't yet, go stream it on Netflix. It really is fantastic.
I mean, you saw me working on it.
A little bit, but
But
I saw you at Sycamore Tavern.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and that was, I think, very early in it, but it was really great.
Thank you.
This is why I say, what is art? Because you talked about the Me Too, but you didn't sound preachy or angry, or you allowed people to come together about a subject. Your joke about the dog had me laugh out loud because I got an early cut from Bertolina.
Oh shit!
I got an early cut. I watched it way before it came out.
Oh, that
and then I
makes
watched
me
it the day it
anxious.
came out also.
Thank you.
But it was great because what I think everyone's kind of bit their tongue about on this Me Too is a lot of the conversations that, especially that men and women are having that are in a relationship where the guy does feel safe and can go, hey, just out of curiosity, like with the whole Louis thing.
Yeah.
Or like, and you watch people like Sarah and Janine get lambasted when they support Louis and someone who's been their friends. And I even had a podcast where with a guy and we were talking positive about Louis.
Yeah.
And the guy felt uncomfortable about it at the end. He was like, can you take that out? I did a podcast where one guy talked negative about Louis and he didn't want it aired. And it was like, we're in such a time where.
Peak fear. For me, it was like, and that's the biggest compliment you can give me. And I was actually going to ask you how you felt about it because my biggest goal was to make it fair. Because I felt like as someone who's made a lot of money off of saying like, men cheat, like, which I don't believe that, making generalizations, which no generalization is true, right? That was just my experience when I was 25 and first started doing stand-up. But it was just like, it felt like men versus women. And it was like, this is crazy. This is because I'm looking at a lot of women that I think are assholes and that are taking advantage of this or are trying to capitalize on this or who are liars or, I was just sort of like, why is Asia Argentiento? I don't even know her name. Why is she the spokesperson for this? I don't know this person. I don't get this feels fishy to me. Like,
Yeah.
and, sure enough. So I felt very uncomfortable that I felt like the person that had the microphone was nuts. And, I felt like I couldn't say anything. I felt silenced by the people who were talking about women being silenced. Like I felt very like bullied into like, you're not allowed to criticize anyone. You're not allowed to challenge anyone. Like we all have to just get in line and follow the people with the biggest microphone, even though we have not at all checked their credentials or character or like, the sort of character profile. And then I felt this like pressure to come forward about incidents that happened to me. And I was like, no, I don't. They happen to me and I've already dealt with, like, I don't want the first thing to come up when I get Googled is to be my story about some pervy director. Like, I just, like, a couple of these people are still alive and they're dangerous. And like, why would I, and then I felt this pressure to like tweet about my trauma from the very people that are like, you shouldn't have to experience trauma. I'm like, well, then why are you making me tweet about it? Yeah. So I just felt that pressure. And I just, and I went around the country like you and I love hanging out with you because you tour the way for real. And I was going outside of New York and LA. And when I would talk about this stuff, I remember going on stage in Houston, which always has the fucking most fun crowds anyway. But I was talking about, getting my ass grabbed at work or something and trying to like figure out a joke around that. And I was like, and this guy grabbed my ass and this woman yelled out, take the compliment and move on. And it was just so like, oh, like we're in such a myopic echo chamber in Hollywood where we're only hearing one point of view from a bunch of rich people. And this is not at all representative of everyone's. And I wanted to make sure that it didn't feel like that.
It was really crazy. I have so many views on that. Like I remember having conversations with Leanne where I would say, so wait, like, I just found out, and this is going to sound, I'm okay outing myself with my wife. She says she doesn't like when I just come up behind her and just grab her boobs. And I was like, why not?
I'm laughing.
She's like, it feels very like you can't just come up and do that. I go, but you're my wife. And she's like, yeah, but that doesn't just, you can't just come up and just grab me in the crotch. And I was like, but I like it when you do it to me. She goes, yeah, but that doesn't mean I like it.
Right.
So the other day I went up behind her and I put my hands around her stomach and I said, okay, should be noted I'm not grabbing your boobs. She was like, that is very, she like, you could see her body relax. And I went, oh. But then my next thought is, so when am I allowed to grab your, like, how long do I have to hold this hold?
Till I can move north.
Till I can move north.
That is so wild.
Yeah,
How long have you been married? Like
15 years,
wow.
16 years.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was a really refreshing point of view that you had, that it wasn't finger wagging. I read this beautiful article about, it's very simple now to go up and say, you white men need to do better and wag your finger because it's an applause break.
Well, that was my biggest fear. And I love talking to you about shit like this because you get it. Like I found that when I would say there was this clapter thing, this new thing where it's not comedy.
It's not a laugh. It's just like these are the right things to say.
No one wants to, like, if someone says, whatever, something bad, because I was doing a joke about Louis that was kind of like, it was getting a big laugh, but then it was getting this like, she said it. And it was like, ugh, I don't want that. Like, I don't want to be the person with the biggest balls in the room. I want to be the person that's the funniest in the room. And
I'm the same with that. Like, see, I can get it if I say something absolutely outrageously insensitive. Like if I say, I have a joke, I'll tell you off camera, and that I've been using, that I like, that I think's good, but then the wrong person said they liked it to me.
Oh no!
And I went, I gotta rethink that joke.
Yep.
Because if that, I don't want to appeal to that.
Was it a comedian?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so
you were just like so bummed.
Yeah, well, you're like, oh, I like that joke, and it's getting huge,
yeah,
responses in the middle of the country.
Yeah,
but I also don't want to be, and that's my cross to bear is I can very easily say the dumbest thing in the room.
Yeah,
and people were like, what was she wearing? She deserved it. Type energy, and you're like, oh, I don't want that.
Oh, I don't want it. And it's tricky because I think that we're at points, luckily, awesomely for us, that we like have to kind of go, you know what? Just because that joke gets a laugh doesn't mean I should do it.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of this special is I was getting a lot of laughs on things that were just like, oh, this is feel cheap, or like, oh, am I just getting this because people think I'm brave? Like, that's what I don't want. I don't want people being like, that was brave. Like, that's not comedy. The idea is to involuntarily laugh. You know, I don't want an applause break on a premise. I want an applause break on a joke. So
I want the laughter. I want the laughter to come when I say the word.
That's right. I was getting applause breaks on premises and setups that I didn't like. And I was like, oh, this is fucking weird, you know? So that area is like a little bit tricky to talk about. But I found like, you know, when I start, like I do this bit in the special where I'm sort of critiquing women in this moment. And like, no, it was so wild because people would clam up as soon as I would bring it up. Like, what if some of these women are taking advantage of this moment? And then when I say, does anyone have any friends that think they're feminists, but they're actually just assholes? Women were like, finally, you know, it was just like, I kind of just like tapped into this moment where everyone was so scared to criticize a woman, per your point earlier, that I was like, I have to figure out the perfect way to do this that's not clapter, but that is funny. So there was like a lot of iterations of that joke.
You've dodged. Ooh, this is a fucking sketchy. You've dodged all the pitfalls that make me frustrated with comedians, especially female comedians, in this time where it's sometimes I feel like celebrities will tweet virtue signaling tweets simply because they're looking for likes.
Oh yeah.
And you've dodged that entirely. I've never seen you do that.
On social
anything.
media.
I've never seen you like go out and go like I'm trying to definitely dodge people's names right now.
I can see
because a few choice words and then everyone goes, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh no, I know.
Like everything's so I follow these people who sometimes they tweet things and you're like, sometimes I'll feel antsy that I don't have anything creative to make and to post. And
the sort of rat race for content and this compare and despair of like when you see everybody posting because a celebrity died and you're like, I gotta post about this, you know,
got lit up for that. When the Notre Dame thing happened, right?
I don't even give a shit about Notre Dame. I don't care about that building. I feel like there's bigger, more important things that are being damaged every day. But when the fucking Notre Dame thing happened, was that your feed too, or do I just follow assholes? Every person's photo was them in France like 10 years ago.
10 years ago, I studied art just outside Notre Dame. I almost decided to become an artist. I chose not. I'm happily married with 3 kids.
Bitch.
It breaks my heart to sit with these children who, had I made a different decision in my life, I would be the... What the fuck?
What do you... No. My favorite was like, if one of you actually waited in line to go inside, I'll pay you $100. I want to see... There were no photos inside Notre Dame. It was only people outside being like, we're here, we got our photo, gone. You didn't even fucking go inside.
I have a nude... There's a rolled up cylinder over there. I have a nude photo that was drawn by an artist of me standing in front of Notre Dame. I was like, well, I'm not going to post that.
Well, that actually would have been very refreshing.
Yeah, maybe I should have.
See, we'll just post that.
But immediately,
that's evergreen.
I don't tweet at all as much as I used to. Yeah. Because I just noticed that, like, dude, even the other day when I tweeted my testicles, I did it. And the second I did it, I went, did I just send a picture of my testicles to Whitney to everyone? To everyone?
Just seeing everyone,
Did
not
I just
making a dick pic?
everyone like, yo, Whitney, here are my balls, because I know that's illegal.
That was the coolest shit ever. And that shit started trending. If you guys didn't see it, Bert sent me tweeted.
Start it over from the beginning, because I have to say, you've been a number of conversations in our house. None more important than the term blackmailing.
Yeah,
because my girls were like, wait, because my daughter saw my balls.
But my favorite part about this is, I'm really into animal like rescue shit. Yeah. So a bunch of people text me being like, I thought that was a baby elephant. I was like, no, that's my friend's balls.
So many, but I had to explain to my daughters what had happened to you and why I tweeted my balls. It still didn't make sense. Totally.
you please record these fucking conversations?
Oh God. And they were like, huh? So start at the beginning.
So ridiculous. I mean, look, weed is legal in California, which means every now and then I'll do a random live from my bathtub or like an Instagram story from the bathtub or, whatever. So in like April, I was like doing some Instagram story in the bathtub and I posted it. And then a bunch of people were like, your nipple showing. Right. And so it was just like a little tiny bit of nipple, deleted it, done, dumbass, don't smoke weed and do stories. Cut to like a month ago. And I don't know if it's because my special was coming out. Like there's always like people saying like, we have your cloud, we have these pictures. There's always people kind of trying to extort you. But out of like nowhere in a week, like 4 different people were like 20 grand or we're going to post this photo. Someone had taken like a screen grab of me in the bathtub with my nipple out, right? Not even a flattering or sexy photo.
But not bad. For Christ's sake. I mean, I looked at it.
It looks like a home birth.
It was
nothing. It looks
it's not the perfect shot of a nipple, but it's a great down blousing shot of a nipple. If you're into down blousing, it's a great down blousing
I'm
shot of a
holding
nipple.
like a loofah. I look all lazy eyed. If one person jerked off to that, I am ashamed on your behalf.
Legion of Skanks.
I am trending on Pornhub, by the way, which is
That's important.
It's kind of a big deal.
I don't know why you're not making your own Pornhub video right now.
Oh, that's
Hey guys, my name is
why
Whitney
I'm
Cummings.
here.
I have a special on Netflix. Hold on, my nipple's coming in 1 minute.
Can you upload anything? Can anyone upload to Pornhub?
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
There's a lot of people have uploaded their specials to Pornhub.
Shut the fuck up.
I've heard of it, yeah.
I have a sex robot in mine. You'd think that I'd be a shoo-in.
You need to have... Hold on, does it have a vagina?
Yes.
Oh my God. Why are you not getting a male porn star for $500 to fuck it?
That's such a genius idea.
Why not get Rocco Siffredi's? Be like, I really want you to fuck
that?
it. With just a guy.
Is that the guy with the birthmarks on his dick?
Who are you talking about?
I know there's a porn star that has like a birthmark on his dick. He's a very big one. He's the one that did the Lindsay Lohan movie. It's like
I know who you're talking. James
half,
Dean.
Yes.
James,
he's got a giant or maybe that's just what
you should definitely, because Bella Thorne just directed a porn for Pornhub.
I saw that.
You should direct a porn for Pornhub with your sex robot and be like, no, I want it. I want people to think it's me. I'm going to do the voiceover. It's going to be ideal, but this is why I got this thing. I would definitely, when you've run the course of your robot and you're like, I'm going to put her in a closet, direct a porn.
The problem is I've gotten emotionally attached to her. I know it's not healthy.
But get a guy you respect that you'd have sex with too. And be like, hey man, I want to make this
Bobby
is my
Lee.
thumbprint.
Should we get
porn.
Bobby Lee to do it?
Bobby Lee would do it.
100%. That's why I'm pitching him.
Oh my God.
It would have to be like Bobby Lee.
Oh my God. You should do porn auditions with all of us.
Oh my God, that's such a good idea.
And you see your robot naked and then just our naked asses.
Fuck.
Oh.
Segura, I'm sure.
Oh, Segura.
100%. Christina needs a day off. I have not played out what the fuck I'm going to do with her. I didn't even think she'd be in the special. I thought it, like, when I went down to, like, get it made, never in a million years did I think it would be, like...
Oh, put a pin in this right now. We are definitely talking about this fucking robot. I'm obsessed with the premise. Because I got pitched the idea of the robot when you came up with it. Bertolina hit me up and he's like, yo, we're thinking about making a sex robot for Whitney. It's fairly pricey.
Of Whitney, not for Whitney.
Of Whitney.
Not for me.
It's pretty pricey. And my first question is like, what are we going to do with it when it's done? And he was like, huh? I was like, never mind. But I want to go back to the blackmail.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I want to finish the blackmail because it's important. And it's important because it was like 3 different conversations that I had with my daughters about just kind of how women get leveraged in life.
And look, I'm sure men get leveraged too in other ways. I know a lot of men that have been taken for a lot of money by women. It's men get it too, just I would imagine in different ways. So this photo's out and these guys are, the problem is you never know what they actually have, right? So a couple of them were like, well, we've got your whole cloud. So if you just give us 50 grand, we won't release this. And then another guy said he had an offer from a website called The Fappening, which is site but I was like, I don't even think they pay for those photos. And then we're like, well, do we reach out and see? But then if you reach out and ask them, then they know you have something. So then they'll start, so it just becomes this game of chicken where you're paying lawyers, you're paying security people, and they're trying to figure out where they are because extortion's illegal in 30 states, but not 20 states. So if they're in those 20 states,
how is extortion not illegal?
I don't know. I think it's illegal in 30 states. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then in Ukraine and Russia, they fucking do this all day long and they trade nudes like baseball cards on the dark web. And so if you're dealing with one of those motherfuckers, just call it. Your life's over. So I was just like at the point where I was like, I'm so sick. And I tried to put it off while my special was coming out because I was like, oh God, I just don't want this to be what the special, so I like held it. And then I was like, I'm not giving them any more of that money. Who gives a fuck? I'm a comedian. Like I humiliate myself every day. Why do I even give a shit? And the photo's kind of embarrassing, but like I'd rather have a couple days of embarrassment than
it's not embarrassing.
You
do not know
here's my problem.
What it's like to be naked and embarrassed.
I was gonna say you have no capacity for embarrassment.
I have a picture of me putting on a bathing suit. And the angle at which I'm standing, you can only see my dick. That's it. And it's just, I got one leg up and it just is like, it's like a white backdrop behind me and it looks so small. It is so ridiculously.
I think of you as having a big dick for some reason.
Erect, not soft.
Oh yeah, no one's dick is big, soft, right?
Mine's like, it's not representative of who we are. Like I want to tell him, like, man, we've got people coming over. Like, you need to get ready.
Right.
But there are so many. First of all, there's a lot of pictures of me naked out there. Like,
I was gonna say that's I think the best defense is being impossible to humiliate. So I think for me putting that out, it was just sort of like, okay, motherfuckers that have embarrassing photos of me, now they know that I'm just a waste of time and go.
Just put it out and go. That's it.
Yeah. What are you going to do? It's like you just have to take their bargaining chip off the table, which is kind of what ended up happening. And then, and it just got exhausting. I was just like, why am I working so hard to protect this? And honestly, I think it was more because I think my face looked bad in it. Like that was more embarrassing to me. I was like, my boob, I stand by these. I paid good money for them.
You had a boob job?
Yeah.
For real?
For real. Yeah.
I don't remember you not having boobs.
I never didn't have boobs. They were just like different sizes and I got them fixed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, I've seen that so much. I would definitely get my boobs fixed if they were different.
Why not? Like it was just.
By the way, my boobs are different sizes.
I was gonna say,
my boobs are definitely different sizes. I would love that. I've been working on getting that fixed.
We can work on a breast reduction, maybe. No.
I would love it if they could take back. I'm starting to get dad tits. Dad tits are where they fold in the center.
Those look like mom tits, actually. Those look like they've been breastfeeding for a year.
I'm on a strict diet. I haven't drank in
I know. I noticed that. And you've been spinning in the morning.
Spinning, doing hot
Let
spin.
me ask you a question. I've always had a question about. Doesn't that hurt your balls?
No, I'm out of the saddle for the most.
Oh,
of
because
it.
you're up.
Yeah,
you're not
I'm
supposed
up.
to be sitting on.
I rode a bike from Philadelphia to Atlantic City the other day.
That's
it last
wild.
3 weeks ago.
And you had to be up the whole time?
I had to sit the whole time, and man, my asshole hurt in such a
asshole
prolific way.
Wait, where was the bike seat?
It's up my. It hurt so bad.
That's
it was
not
like
great.
I got hemorrhoids from that bike ride.
Oh,
it
no.
was so painful. But yeah, I'm out of the saddle for the most. Hot spin is awesome.
So that's when you're supposed to be out of the saddle.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I even because a lot of them they make you slam down and back up, and I always was like feels like. Being
but
assaulted.
You posted it, and I saw the post, and it must have been like an hour old, maybe if that.
Yeah.
And I was. So
I didn't think anyone would give a shit. I was just like, oh, who's gonna give a shit?
Well, you did post your boobs, so I think most guys are like, "Oh, I'm gonna take a look at this."
It was just so. It's like to me, it makes me so mad because there's so many freaking good naked photos of me in my phone.
Yeah,
that was the one that comes out makes me so mad.
Oh, if my dick gets released, I'm gonna definitely post all the pictures where I look chubbed up and solid.
You just be like, hey, to be clear, this is what I'm capable of.
This is a good day for me.
Like, yeah, because it was just like a lot of the leaks of women that had come out were photos that they had taken and sent to their boyfriends. So they're flattering, it's good lighting.
I've seen them all, I think.
Yeah, probably. And it was just sort of like the fact that mine had to be this sloppy ass one where I'm like trying to figure out how to work the camera. It just makes me so mad.
So were you in the room, Halston, when Halston, me, and Leanne are in there. And we all read it on my computer. We just on a podcast.
It was like out of nowhere, like on a Monday.
Yeah.
Right?
And then I was like, I got really upset because I was like, that's fucked up. That's fucked up that people would do that. And I just shown a picture of my testicle. I fell on a slide in New Jersey and it exploded.
Wait,
And-
I don't understand that. Is that a common thing? Because the big thing that I missed in this whole was how balls get swollen from slides.
So what had happened was, first of all, the water was absolutely freezing. That's why my balls are so tight in that.
Your balls change sizes in the cold
100%.
water? Wow, I thought that was just dicks. I guess they're connected.
And dicks and balls. My balls, if I'm cold, my balls will just shrivel up, and they'll just get.
They didn't look shriveled up.
No, they were. I have very long hanging balls, and so these.
Hey, is that a genetic thing, or is that just over time that happens? Or they always?
I think a little bit of overtime, but I've always had low hanging balls.
Because I dated a guy whose balls were super tight to his
Really?
body, and they were very like taut, and I was always very confused by them.
I've seen porn stars where it looks like they don't even have balls, and you're like, but no, mine are like flappy and slappy.
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm.
So, but in this
into.
water, it was so cold. That's why they're very almost like you can see the skin's all tied together and like tied together. But then there's that big lump. That lump is the injury. That was my testicle.
It was like red and swollen.
Yeah, and so
were they shaved? I have so many questions.
no, they were not shaved. I stopped shaving my balls. There was a certain point where Leanne just kind of stopped caring.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if you don't care, I don't care. And then, but we take care of Leanne's area. But she's like, me, yeah, I do it.
What?
I have liners. I have
what?
I got everything.
Is this known?
Oh, I don't know.
Wait,
yeah.
Wait, you groom?
I groom Leanne, yeah.
When?
I'm really good too.
And
I'm
where?
really good. Everything. I know I leave something up top because I'm not a fucking perv. I leave a little up top because I'm
like
a grown
a little
man.
square?
A little something every now and then, and maybe I went through a period where
with
I was
a
like,
razor?
No.
This is blowing my mind.
I have the mower 2.0, which is by Manscaped. It is really great because it doesn't nick. It won't grab your skin. But I've been shaving. I shaved before the birth of Georgia. She was like, I can't look like a fucking animal in there. So I was like, I trimmed it up.
Well, that's because she couldn't reach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So but I've done it a million times before. And so I trimmed it up so nicely that I didn't even realize what I was doing. Her aunt's in the room. And in the middle, I go, hey, what do you guys think of that haircut? And everyone's like, what? And I go, I did that. I trained.
It's also not a haircut.
Yeah. And everyone's like, did not need to know that. Like, I did not. Like, all of a sudden you can see it. Like, wait, were you kneeling on a pillow at a bed?
Did you put one leg up on a...
No. She lays on the bed. She puts a towel down. And then I get down and on my knees and...
I need to take a walk and process. I can't...
Wait, do you get waxed, probably?
I lasered...
Gone.
Everything. Freezing cold.
For real?
Yeah, sometimes like little random like Smithers hair, like one Smithers will roll.
Like a comb over?
Yeah, just one George Costanza moment. But I did the laser like 6 times or something over a year so that it's pretty much gone forever.
I would laser my balls.
It doesn't hurt that much with the new thing.
I would laser.
Get that
I would
content.
laser all.
You're welcome.
It's not a bad idea.
That's a banger.
I would laser my ass there too.
Because here's what I'll say. I think there is this thing, and I'm not a part of this moment, but I'm hearing a lot of like, women have to do all this upkeep. Women have to do all this stuff to look a certain way. Men don't. Pink tax, which is very real and true. But
pink tax
is like just that it's in general more expensive to be a woman because tampons are $20. They should not be $20. That's crazy. The same pair of scissors in the like men's aisle and women's aisle are different prices. Like just shit like that,
Yeah, it's so funny. I automatically go to the women's aisle and buy scissors. I automatically go, these are got to be nicer.
These are better, yeah.
Whatever the fuck.
But you can find them in the men's aisle for the same, same
pink
exact scissor,
tax.
but it's cheap.
I like that pink tax.
But it's just in general, like makeup and razors and antiperspirant and douche and summer's eve and just all the extra shit we have to buy. I feel like it would be very helpful for that narrative to watch you laser your balls.
I'd laser my balls.
You're like, women aren't the only ones that have it hard.
Hey, Halston, are you trying to distract us?
What is this? What's happening? Is this a dysfunction?
Just turn it off.
But I would like to see that.
I would love to get my balls lasered. I don't like ball hair. It looks like Captain Caveman.
Joey Diaz's balls are probably lower than yours. Have you guys had a
Oh yeah, his balls
competition?
are definitely lower than mine.
I would like to see.
Ari's balls are much lower. Ari's got
lower than Joey's?
Ari's got huge balls. Ari's got a huge dick. I'm sure you know that.
I didn't know that.
Everyone's seen Ari's dick.
Where?
He takes it out nonstop.
Really? Oh, that's a very smart thing to do these days in comedy.
Ari is
Like,
like
recently?
defiantly waiting for a Me Too moment. Like, just like, what? You can't take your dick out on stage? I've never heard this. He came out on one of my
It's
shows.
the perfect time to do it because it's the most original thing you can do right now.
He came out on stage naked to bring me out on stage.
Oh my God,
Walked
that's
out
so
naked, and someone said to me at the end of the show, "Hey, just so you know, like, we know you're all friends, but we're not fans of everyone's." And I was like, "What?"
What's that?
And they're like, "We're just fans of yours. We're not fans of Ari's." So like that sense of humor, we don't like. And I was like, "Okay." And then her husband, you could tell, was definitely a fan of all of us.
Definitely into it.
And he was like, I mean, it was funny seeing his dick, but I can understand someone's point of view of not knowing they were going to see it. By the way, it was at 10 in the morning. I was doing a Call in Sick to Work show. They were like, I can understand someone's point of view of not being ready to see a dick at 10 in the morning. I can understand that. And I was like, yeah, I guess I can understand that. But yeah, Ari's got a big
Be
dick.
ready soon enough to get ready.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen his dick. Ari, has he told you the story of when he hid my backpack in
No.
So Ari and I now are like, he's the best, and I'm seriously considering doing a month without a phone hiking trip now because of him.
So wait, but there was a hiccup in before this?
No, this is when I first started comedy.
Okay, because there is stories. I've heard women tell stories about showing up at the store and it being brutal, like just the guys being torturous.
I mean, I feel like the guys were brutal to other guys too.
They were brutal to everyone across the board.
That's why I don't think it was specifically because I was a girl. I think it's just because I was a young comic starting out.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you know what I mean? So I'm not being a woman is hard, of course, but being a comic is hard, regardless of your gender. You know, like everyone gets terrorized. I mean, they used to just like haze me, you know, like when I would be like doing the open mics or when I first started getting spots, like at midnight, like before Don Barris and Brody and stuff. They would come out and they would just be like, there'd be like 4 people in the audience. I'm already eating shit. I'm already bombing on Tuesday. And they'd be like, hey, there's a red car blocking in a Civic. Is that your car, Whitney? Like while I'm on stage performing, I'd be like, no, everyone knows I walk to that's not my car. Like just heckling me, just always disrupting. But I don't know. Maybe this is too like third step program shit, but it's like made me a stronger comic.
I sat with a woman, Kimmy Warner, who's like the #1 spearfisher person in the world.
Oh, cool.
And she said, when I competed, I didn't even realize, she's like, when I won the world championships in spearfishing, it was men and women competed alongside each other. Now they have a women's thing. And she was like, no, women can compete with men. And then her sister was like, yeah, but they can also have a women's, you know, like, why not? If you're inspiring women to do it, let them compete with themselves, you know. But it's interesting the way that some women just go, well, I don't want to. No, I see myself as one thing. If they're getting hazed, I'm getting hazed also. I don't want to be treated different.
That means I'm being treated equally.
Yeah.
If the men are being mistreated, just mistreat me also so that I don't feel
men
like...
are definitely being mistreated in stand-up.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's just like, if you weren't mistreating me, I wouldn't be being treated equally. I like, don't walk on eggshells around me. That's insulting, you know? So I always feel like it made me a stronger comic, even though at the time it was like rough. It prepared me for how much worse it is when a non-comic does that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, one time I was on stage and I got off and I couldn't find my backpack. I used to always wear a backpack, remember? And I had all my shit in it, my wallet and whatever. And I started hysterically crying. I was like, turn the lights on. I made them turn the lights on in the original room at like 11:30 at night. And I was like, look under it. Like to the audience members had to look under their chairs for my backpack. Ari has disappeared. He's told his side of the story now. Of like how he was just like, I didn't expect her to start crying and making everyone turn the lights on. What he didn't know is that I had my credit card stolen a couple days prior. And the security person was like, it's someone you work with who's taking your credit card, going to an ATM, taking money out and returning it. So is there any time that you're in a place where someone could take your wallet for 20 minutes and then put it back? So in my head, it was like, this is the person who's been stealing my wallet. They took like $6,000 out of my account at a time when that was like, you know, my savings. So I just like totally overreacted and was histrionic and like crazy. And then I did Ari's podcast like 5 years later. And he was like, I'm the one that stole your backpack.
Really?
I was like traumatized over it for years. I thought there was someone at the Comedy Store that was stealing my wallet. And I was like super paranoid there for a while. And I wouldn't talk to anybody. Like it really fucked me up.
And Ari was like, I took it.
I know. He was just like,
I feel really bad about it now.
And then he told me later, which is like so funny. But he was always like, really nice to me, I think. Maybe, I don't know, but he was always really good to me.
What was it
besides
like,
that?
What was it like becoming rich?
You
like
know,
the first moment
Once you
where
realize-
someone called, like, where you were like, wait, if I do the math right, that's $1 million.
yeah.
Wait, hold on. If I do the math right, that's going to be, if this go, like,
Yeah.
what was that like? Because you did not grow up wealthy.
No. I grew up without money. You know, for me, and this is not the funny answer, but because as soon as I started making money, all my family got sick without health insurance. So it was like, for me, it was like, I ball so hard paying that bill to the ICU because we didn't have insurance. It was like I was paying like, you know, writing checks for like $20,000 to like hospitals. So it just, for me, when I first started getting money, it wasn't like, this is so fun. It was like, well, thank God I can pay these medical bills. Like I never got to like enjoy it until way later.
Did people in your family celebrate you, or did they?
No, that's not like the dynamic. Like the dynamic was very, and I did ayahuasca a year ago and it helped me work through this because I couldn't understand it because I thought it was like, you make it and then everyone's so happy for you and like proud of you. Whereas a lot of my family members took it as like, oh, you think you're better than us? And I was like, no, I'm a comedian. I literally hate myself. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to get your approval. Why are you mad? You know?
Yeah.
But it was like, and then I didn't know the whole, like, if you loan someone money, they start to hate you.
Yeah.
Because they feel resentful and like you own them in some way or you've made them feel bad. So I was sort of like, let me pay your mortgage. Let me take care of this. Let me put her through school and pay for her dental bill. Like I was like so excited to be able to take financial anxiety off people. And then they started being mad at me. And I was like, oh, it's never a loan. It has to be a gift. Someone gave me that advice.
I have given money to people who have then wrote us off and said, you guys have changed. And then you're like, hit edit. Go back. Fucking crazy. Hit edit again. Cut that out. Yeah.
He tried to sue me.
Yeah. We gave him so much fucking money.
Also, me time's up.
We have given money to people who have then written us off and said we've changed, and we definitely have. By the way, we have definitely changed.
I hope. Yes, I have changed. I'm in a position where now I can loan you money and help you.
Yeah, and
you should be grateful that I've changed.
But it's interesting because my dad and my mom and my sister, I think everyone in my family has celebrated somewhat of my success.
Yeah.
But like you had success in a time that doesn't exist anymore. That time that you had that success, that doesn't exist anymore. You can't really, like, no one's really selling sitcoms anymore that way. And it's not going for what did it go, 8 seasons or something? Mm-hmm. And your own, and juggling two at a time. So and then literally everyone in Hollywood wanted a piece of you.
That's nice.
But it's not nice. It's true. And touring and specials. And you didn't fuck it up by overextending yourself.
By tweeting about politics?
Yeah. No, you just did the work that you felt you were capable of doing and moved forward and amassed what I will say in my assessment is a fortune. And I want to know, like, you're not flashy. You're not like, you're very kind of still meat and potatoes. Like you're not driving around in like a fucking ridiculous car like Segura. Segura's got 3 fucking ridiculous cars.
He's my neighbor and I don't think I've even seen them.
Yeah.
I mean, all these guys.
But
guys have so few things I feel like to spend money on. Like you have watches, cars. And
so
that's
you
kind
spend
of
your money on bathing suits and ridiculous tops. Fucking the most insane outfits I've ever seen where I'm like, that definitely, by the way, that's right in my wheelhouse.
Me?
That's the shit I buy is like, oh, it's got cutlery all over it. It's a cutlery print. I'll wear this when I'm going out to eat.
It's got purple tigers on it. Yeah. I obviously have to buy that. But like, I literally dress like David Copperfield.
But like, what was it? I mean, you lived in Studio City in a modest house your entire time. You just bought a house.
Yeah.
But like, what was that? Was there a part of you that was scared that it was going to go away? Was it?
Oh my God. I live in such a high level of scarcity complex all the time because I always think I'm going to go broke. I always think it's going to go away. I also, because, and maybe your listeners will think this is stupid because it took me a while just to understand. Like, I also didn't understand how taxes worked. And the first time I got a big check, I owed money the next year and couldn't afford it. So because I didn't understand how taxes worked, I thought $100 check was $100.
Yeah.
I thought you make no. You make $33.
Yeah.
On every $100.
Right before George was born, they called me and they said, "Hey man, you know how many money left?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? I have like $80,000 in my bank." And they're like, "Yeah, that's for taxes."
That's for taxes.
And I was like, "We've been paying taxes."
Are you insane?
What the fuck, dude? I thought,
What kind of
that's why I
accountant
hired
are you?
You write them all off, right?
Totally. So I had no idea because I'd always gotten money back because that's how little money I made. So I was like, oh, the government pays you.
That is so great.
I was so
you have
stupid.
waitress economics in your head.
Totally.
I should be getting a big splash of cash
I was
at
like,
the end of the year.
that 20 grand is coming any day
They're
now.
gonna fucking, with all the money I made, do you have any idea how much money I'm gonna be getting
Dude,
back?
I'm gonna get like $1 million from these guys.
They're gonna call me and be like, "Yo, we want to meet you."
Totally. Like I was like, bring out that check. Like I had no idea. So the first time I made a lot of money, the amount of money I had to pay in taxes was fucking like, I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
So then I got super scared and I stopped wanting to work. I started turning things down because I was like, I don't want to pay taxes on
I want
that.
to pay taxes on that. Are you kidding me?
I'm like, don't give me that money. Are you insane? Like I was like, got really scared. And then I got a business manager who finally explained to me how money works in a way that I can understand. He said, never look at the actual cost of something. So if something is $100, it's not $100. It's $300 because you have to earn $300 to be able to afford $100.
That's a really interesting way of looking at it.
That helped me because I was like, oh, this shirt's $100. That's a deal, but I have to earn $300 to buy it. So it's actually $300.
That's a really brilliant way to look at it. That makes me want to not buy anything
That's
now.
right. So then I started getting like a handle on it. Like I don't really buy clothes or shit like that, but it helped me sort of like stop buying stupid shit that I was like, oh, it's only $50. It's only $100, you know? And then it's like, no.
That's interesting. I look at every dollar I earn as I earn. Leanne just goes, you only get half of that.
That's right.
And
Always.
so that's the way my brain
10 grand,
works.
5 grand.
Yeah. And so it's really disheartening.
I know it's a bummer sometimes, but then you're just like, all right, I got to work harder to be able to, you know.
But you know what? Anyone listening to this, and my dad's the one that told me this. He was like, yeah, you keep half of it. Guess how much I keep of every dollar I earn? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, fucking $10, 10 cents. And I was like, what? And he was like, when you run a business,
Yeah.
and my dad's got overhead, he's got to pay them rent on his office. He's got to pay everyone's salaries. He's got to pay their health insurance, like all that. He was like, oh, you make,
Nothing.
like you have to make so much money to make money when you run your own business.
So
He's
true.
like, you have no overhead. It's just you. I mean, now I think I'm accruing a little bit of a staff, but
Another thing that I did was I opened a separate bank account and I put money in it so that I could never see it. Right. So it's like if I made, let's just make up a fake amount of money. If I made $5,000, I would put $2,500 in the other account for when taxes come around. So I never see all this money in my bank account that I don't get to keep.
do you still have I don't even know how much money I have. Do you still have a business manager?
Mhm.
Same one?
Different one.
Different one?
New one now. Yeah. My new
Really?
thing is just fire everyone constantly.
It's so funny. I've been looking for people that'll never leave me.
It's like, I just mean like, I when I first started making money, I just like the most famous successful person I knew, wherever they told me to go is where I went and what I did, you know? And
Yeah.
now I'm sort of like, know how money works and I know how I work. And I'm just sort of like, oh, you know, I actually don't need these services. I'm going to change to this person. Like I just went through the first round of like transitioning to other people
Yeah.
to help me.
Do you have envy? I just went to a bar mitzvah.
Yes.
And they were talking about, and maybe not envy. What's the word in the Bible?
I have envy though.
Do you really?
Yeah, of course.
What are you envious of?
I think definitely when I see like women that have families and also really busy careers, because I don't know if I could do that. Like when I see
Me either.
comics who have babies and are doing stand up, I'm like, I don't get that.
Do you think you'll have a baby?
I think I will.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of freezing embryos right now.
Nice.
Yeah. My fiance had to go jerk off in a thing. And they gave him like porn, like old school porno magazines.
I bet that would really turn me on. I haven't seen like in a
that's
throwback
what
kind of
he
way.
said. He was just like, there were pubes. Like it was like, no, but like it was just like small boobs, big.
She couldn't vote.
Yeah,
I mean, I was like really into it.
Totally.
There was a slave in there.
Frizzy hair.
No one was drinking. It was during Prohibition. I mean, it was really hot.
It was like there was something hot about like a magazine.
Oh, I bet there would be
Yeah.
something hot about, like, especially glossy.
Yeah,
with a
totally.
shine.
And it was just like an advert for, you know, phosphates.
Yeah, I get envious of youth.
Oh.
I get envious of the ignorance of youth when you think everything lasts forever.
Yeah.
Like when you see kids, like I look at videos of me behaving certain ways and I'm envious of that. I go, man, you didn't know anything about blood pressure back then. You didn't know anything about liver enzymes or cholesterol.
Yeah.
There you are just murdering. Like I look at old Travel Channel stuff, like, and I just go, you didn't give a fuck about your sugar levels were.
Yeah.
And now I'm so cognizant. Like I take my blood pressure every single day.
But I will say, I feel like two things. I feel like number one, and correct me if I'm wrong, and this is something that's been so fun, like watching you be so successful, is I feel like you got to like live your life.
I'm very lucky in that. I've got fairly good genetics in that I can party pretty hard and bounce back.
Yeah.
And health-wise, across the board, other than being overweight, which is my biggest problem, that's the only thing I'm trying to like get a hold of because I'm not a fat person. I know that I am a fat person, but in life, I've never been a fat person.
No.
Now I'm just like I think people see me as like a fat guy, and I go, well, I'm not a fat guy.
I don't think it's that. I think that because of social media, when we see these CrossFit people, I think you're fine. It's just that we have too much access to these like washboard ab people. So in comparison, we all look like fucking blobs of nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like I felt really good about my body until Instagram came along. And I was like,
it's so funny. You have a fantastic body. And I've heard you say stuff like that, like, oh, I don't love my body. And I go, and I wonder, and I say this to myself.
And I wonder the same thing about you because I'm like, everyone should be in shape. And I'm like, we all have a certain level of dysmorphia.
Oh, I have hardcore. My sisters used to say I had hypogymnasia.
What's that?
It's where I don't know if it's real.
Oh, I used to work out all the time. I did that. I used to work out after everything I ate. That was my eating disorder. I went to Crunch 3 times a day. Ask Jeff Goldblum.
I really.
Your face. You're like, what? He used to go there, and he'd work out in jeans. And I remember one time he came in and he was like, "You sure are here a lot, huh?" This is when I was like 22. I would work out for 4 hours a day at a Crunch that I didn't even belong to. I'd sneak in. Today
I did hot spin at 7:15.
Yeah.
I had dance lessons at 11. I'm doing hip hop dance. And
I'd like to see that.
I'll show it to you.
Okay.
I was on my fucking phone.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? You don't think I record myself?
I was gonna say, yeah, I have a
dance?
feeling you'll show me.
And then I'll work out again tonight. I'll probably go for a hike with the girls before I go over to the store.
But the good news about it is it's not isolating. Like you're doing it socially with other people. So it's not.
I go to hot spin with my sister. Hip hop dance I just really enjoy.
Yeah. But I also think that like for me, like, I mean, I recently had to work with this like breathing coach, which sounds so fucking lame, but also being on stage for 2 hours a night is fucking tiring.
Yeah.
It's the first time in my life that I'm like, oh, I need to get in better shape. Like I have to yell for 3 hours every night. And I was getting sick this time.
Well, you're a very, it may not seem like this, but you're a more intense act than me. Like you do a lot more movement and energy than me. Like, and I think I'm a pretty high energy act, but I got to the point where I was like, I was breaking sweats on stage.
Me too.
And I was like,
I have to
can't
change
fucking
shirts
sweat.
between shows.
Yeah, I was like,
You have
I
to be
can't
in
fucking
shape.
sweat.
But I found myself having a hard time breathing and being able to like say the joke and then end it. You know, like I was just like, I'm in bad shape.
Dude, I have a part in one joke where every time I start the word that the guy says, I go, I forgot to take a breath again. Every fucking time.
Because you gotta, and then say the joke and then to do it.
When I was in a band in college and I took singing lessons. My mom got me singing lessons.
Are you good at singing?
Not anymore at all. I fucked my voice up throwing up. I threw up one night and I think I ripped my vocal cords. And so my voice doesn't last at all anymore. Like it's falling apart right now. Falling apart right now.
Wait, is that, have you gotten that looked at?
No.
I'm sorry. Wait, hold on, back up. What were you?
A week later, I met a guy who ripped his retina from throwing up, and I was like, "Fuck! Thank God I'm not."
Throwing up is fucking violent. I mean, it is. If you haven't thrown up in a while and you throw up, you're like, God damn, that is like being.
I am not in control of it.
Yeah, I remember one time I threw up and it popped a bunch of vessels in my face.
I blew out all my blood vessels and the blood vessels in my eyes.
I mean, it has to. Your body is basically trying to get something here all the way out of the front of your face.
I never could do bulimia.
It was, I think it's Kevin Christie. I remember one time I was on the road with him and I was throwing up and I was like, oh God, that was awful. He's like, yeah, throwing up, you're basically screaming into a toilet. You are. You're like, ah! It's awful.
I wish I could do it the way bulimics do it, where they just go,
and it's just like, and they just like spit it out. I used to be friends with this girl. She was bulimic, which I don't. The only reason I wasn't bulimic because I had every eating disorder was I think I saw in like 90210 or one of those shows that a girl put a toothbrush down her throat to throw up, and I was like too freaked out about the toothbrush, so I never tried it. I didn't realize you could do it with your fingers. Anyway, so she would throw up behind cars like while we were walking. She was just like, bleh.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah. No, because then you'd be hungry all the time.
No.
I
would. There's so many meals I've had where I was like, I'd love to throw that up.
Yeah, like
that was a fucking. What was I doing? I'm going through a big trail mix phase right now.
Oh, why? Why?
Because
it's just sugar. It's just candy. You're eating candy.
I know, but it's with nuts too, so I feel healthy.
Man, maybe just do the nuts. I don't like salty and sweet together. It feels like an ambush.
Me either, but I'm going through this.
It's disgusting. When people try to put a fucking dried cranberry on a salad, I get enraged.
I got so drunk the other night at this bar mitzvah, I went to Ralph's and bought 2 birthday cakes and brought them home, thinking the kids are gonna lose their fucking mind. Right?
You know what I used to do when I was really not regulated as a person when I first moved to LA? I would go to Ralph's and I'd go to the birthday cake aisle and I would press down the tops.
Just there we go. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Fuck you. It was just like
unhappy birthday.
And then I would literally just go and like tap the tops of the cake to ruin them. It was like felt so good. And then I would go to the cookie aisle and mush the cookies up in the bag, you know, the soft batch cookies.
Oh, just going like, I am walking karma.
Just so that when someone got home, could be a lovely person, open it up. It's like, fuck.
Someone broke all the fucking eggs.
I just wanted to ruin someoone's day, I guess.
I brought home 2 birthday cakes and it's like 2 a.m. Everyone's.
Those sheet cakes?
Sheet cakes.
So good.
Fucking frozen.
Ugh.
I didn't know it. I brought 2 frozen cakes.
Frozen cake's kind of good.
No. Frozen as in you can't cut into it.
Oh, I think you meant frozen as in like
frozen.
Elsa for like a Frozen theme.
No. Frozen, like they'd been in the freezer and I just was like,
shit.
Yeah, and so you couldn't cut into them. So now they're in my fridge.
Microwave that shit.
I was going to take one to the store tonight. Just drop it off.
To ruin someone else's evening?
Just be like, hey, did anyone want a birthday cake tonight?
No one here has an unhealthy relationship with substances.
There's certain foods I have that my body reacts different than other humans' bodies. When I eat birthday cake and the icing goes on top of my roof of my mouth, I lose my stomach. Like I go, huh,
you get dizzy.
I lose my stomach like I'm like a free fall. I lose my stomach.
Is that like an inner ear problem?
I have no idea. When icing goes on the roof of my mouth, I lose my stomach.
This is.
I'll tell you one even crazier. When I have an orgasm, my brain yells out crazy shit. Like,
does your mouth yell it out?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Well, that's good. So you think it, you don't say it.
No. My brain will go, salon selectives, rope. What?
Rope?
Just rope, huh? Ropes on haircuts, salon selectives. Pee Wee Herman.
So do you think the same way that this is like our dreams, our subconscious thoughts coming up, or like preparing for threats or danger? Do you think it's something that's like subconscious that's coming out because you've lost control of your thoughts?
I don't know. Sometimes it's really beautiful. I think it's a tap into whatever heroin is, like whatever. Like the flood heroin gives you, where your brain goes totally free.
Yeah. Is there a theme of the things you think of?
No.
You named a couple brands, a couple shampoo brands.
Salon Selectives is the one I remember the first time it happened.
Yeah.
My brain went, Salon Selectives. And I went, what?
Uh-huh. This is the weirdest ad partnership
And then the other day
it
was rope. My brain went, rope. And I was like, what? Rope.
And you hear it like a noise?
Rope. I hear a voice in my head go like.
Whose voice is it?
It's my inner thought. It's my voice, but what had happened was Leanne was talking during my orgasms for a period of time.
What does that even mean?
Like I went to have an orgasm one time, and
like
then,
small talk or like
no, sometimes
like dirty talk.
No, I went to have an orgasm one time, and she was on top. I was laying.
You went to have one?
I was having one, and as it started, she went, "Oh, look at him," and it zapped it away. All of a sudden my brain was not disconnected. It was connected. And I had the physical reaction happened, but I didn't have the physical like feeling of it. It physically there was ejaculate, but it wasn't like, I didn't go like, oh, it just, she interrupted it. And I went, hey, please don't ever talk. When you see my eyes go back, don't like start up a conversation. And she was like, why, does that ruin it? I was like, yeah. Then the next time she was like smiling at me as like going like, I'm not going to say something. But I was like, but you're still fucking in my head.
Why
like,
are you even looking at each other is my question. What is the, what? I don't know what's happening with I close my eyes and shut my mouth during sex. I don't want to see what they're doing. I don't want to know what you're doing. Why are you even engaging with each other? This is crazy.
This is my impression of you.
This is, you guys are smothering each other. You're crowding each other. Why are you even engaging with each other? You're supposed to just be two strangers in the night. We don't speak of it. We don't speak to each other. I've never heard of this.
You know what's so funny is I recently.
She's doing bits while you're,
She one time went and goes, as it's happening, she goes, you have a hair on your face. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, stop talking to me. Yeah, I tried.
You have lots of hair on your face, by the way.
No, there was like a hair on my eye. She went to
your
grab
famous
it.
eyelash?
I was like, no, not my lucky eyelash. She would never touch that.
Okay, good.
But yeah, have
you ever faked an orgasm?
Yeah.
And why do you think you're going to get away with it? Because there's usually a receipt.
The receipt's already happened. And she didn't notice, and I didn't tell her. And then I was like, oof, this is now.
Because I hear guys faking orgasms is a bigger thing than I had heard of.
I think it's when it's already happened, and you were caught off guard, and it happened quick, so quick that she doesn't know it really even physically could have happened within like say 5 seconds, 10 seconds.
Oh, and then you fake another one later,
and then you fake one like a couple minutes later, like, well, this isn't as bad as then, but now you're like, oh, don't worry, I can get it back up. I did that to Leanne.
Do you think it's hard to fake an orgasm? Because what you just did did not sell it.
No.
You just went, oh.
Oh yeah.
I'm so curious about a guy's impression of his own orgasm.
I'm pretty silent. Like, I don't remember. I did it to Leanne once, but she knew I did it.
She knew you faked it?
She knew. Well, no, she knew I already had an orgasm. So I think the second time she was like,
called bullshit. Well, also you're acting. You didn't even commit to it.
Yeah, I'm not the best actor. I've been in Hollywood 21 years and I've been in 2 sitcoms. Like I think, and then I was like, I don't know what I did, but she knew everything. And then I got up and I was like, let me check. I think I'm gonna go get another condom. We can do this again.
Is that your impression of yourself?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you could just talk like you. If you're doing an impression of you. I do think if my fiance faked an orgasm, I don't think I'd be able to get over it. Not because he didn't have one or I would just be like, did you think?
No, you're too into a relationship for him to fake it. He would never fake it now. He would have faked it right when he first started
maybe
dating.
He has.
Maybe.
Because it would just be such a signal of like, I can handle it if you're not into this or whatever.
How often do you guys have sex, do you think?
Well, he's gone 2 weeks out of the month, which is probably part of why this works. I mean,
my relationship.
We all know I'm good in small doses.
Leanne can't wait for me to start.
It is so. People are like, I don't know how you guys do it. I'm like, I don't know how you guys do it. I mean, people are like, how do comedians have relationships? Perfectly, because we see each other 2 weeks a month.
Yeah,
it's the greatest. But I'd say when he's in town 3-4 times a week.
That's
not bad.
Yeah. 6 times a month is the national average.
Really? For me, my problem is once I've missed a week or 2 weeks, I'm like over it. It's hard to get me back in the swing.
Really?
It's like, you know, when you travel or traveling a lot, do you unpack everything? No. Yeah, neither do I. No. As long as I keep my shit in the bag, I'm good at traveling.
I sleep in bed with my bag. I put my bag on where my wife would sit, and then I lay next to my bag. And at times,
in hotels,
I put my arm into my bag and like I'll hold my bag I have definitely slept into my bag.
That is heartbreaking. But I mean, like when I come home, if I know I'm going to leave in 2 days, I just don't unpack my toiletries and shit.
Oh, I don't.
I can travel as long as my shit stays packed.
I actually, when I come home, I haven't done this in a while because I've been on a tour bus.
Yeah.
But I would keep my bag packed and not even unpack it, and then just wash it when I got to the other place.
Yeah.
Like just
100%.
Never. Why am I gonna fuck with this or watch it on Sunday?
Yeah.
I don't miss doing clubs, but what I miss is going to a club and being there
for like 4 days or something. Me too.
And I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But I miss when I could.
Yeah.
When I could, and it would be Sunday, and I'd go down and I'd do laundry, go work out, come in, drop them in the dryer, finish my workout, grab the clothes, bring them upstairs, put on football, get my computer ready, set up fantasy football, all my pick'ems, and then fold clothes, watch football, go to the computer, get a salad
in
or
in a place that if someone else is gonna clean when you leave. A place you don't have to clean. You can like leave shit everywhere. Like that's my favorite thing.
It was so. It's not better than having a tour bus. Having a tour bus is the greatest thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
Ever. Best thing I've ever done.
Huh.
And I think this fall, may be the last time I do it this way.
Yeah.
It's just not cost effective.
But are you doing drive through the night and do a show the next day?
Yeah.
You're not taking days in between?
No.
And how many in a row?
I do 4 nights in a row, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Uh-huh.
And then usually I'll fly home Monday, come back out Wednesday, or come back out Thursday morning.
Yeah.
Take the red eye Wednesday night.
Yeah.
But for a few of them, I'm going to stay on the bus for like a bunch of them.
The key to the bus is who's on it with you. Like if you have awesome people, it's the most fun shit ever. I
had a really good group. I ended up just hitting up friends that were in production. I hadn't figured out the, I've allotted a certain amount of money for marketing.
Yeah.
So I want to have a marketing team with me to shoot stuff that I think is fun.
Yeah.
So like, and I couldn't figure it out. I didn't really like dial it in last year. I think I've dialed it in this year, and in that I have a certain amount each week I can spend. So if I don't spend it, I'm going to save it up. And then like, if someone's like, yo, man, you're in Fort Myers, you want to go spearfishing? I then can go, yes. And then say that night, go, we're going spearfishing in the morning. You guys get all the gear.
Yeah.
Make sure, and we've got a budget for it. Make sure that we're taken care of, that we're comfortable.
Yeah.
And then let's go spearfishing and we'll film it.
Yeah.
Or say we're going to the horse tracks or whatever. I need one person to make sure we got clearance.
Yeah.
I need you to make sure we have all the gear. We did it for the bike race, and it didn't work perfectly. At all, because we didn't post the video.
Oh no!
But
why not?
It
didn't come
there's
together.
Just hiccups. It just was hiccups.
Yeah.
I'm a very immediate person. I want things done that day.
You really are. I'm impressed by that.
Yeah, but like that video I showed you, we shot last night, and then I edited last night, and then I sent it to my team, and it was like, I was like, I sent it to you. Where is it?
And what's team? 8 marketing people to edit it?
I have too many people right now. So what I need to do is sizzle it down.
Maybe. Because then when you have too many people, they all think that someone else is going to handle it.
Yeah.
And then nothing gets done.
And so they told me something couldn't be done. And then I was like, well, I guess I just need to learn Final Cut Pro now. So then I spent the morning.
I fucking love even iMovie. Because by the time you tell someone to do it, you probably could have just done it yourself.
You could have done an iMovie in a heartbeat. Here's the problem. I can shoot videos in iMovie fine. But if you want to separate yourself from the pack with title cards and graphics, Final Cut Pro is
is the best. I know.
And because I'll see guys that are using the title card from iMovie, and I'll go,
the picture is fading in and out.
Yeah, and you're like, I gotcha. Voop, voop, voop. And you're like, I know.
It's so fucking
so
true.
I spent the morning after spin learning Final Cut Pro so that I could do the graphics package that we're doing.
Yeah, it's kind of a new thing that comedians have to know how to use Final Cut Pro.
It is. You know what's
crazy.
So funny is had you not been so successful or as early, I'm dying to see where you'd be now, because you're still very successful.
Yeah.
But I would be interested to see this. I hope this comes out as a compliment.
I wasn't. No, I definitely was not. I was like making shows and doing stand up. I didn't like do Instagram or like Twitter.
No, but if you're just now starting a podcast, correct?
I haven't started yet.
But you're in the steps.
I just like what I don't want to do is I don't like to half-ass shit, and I don't like to bullshit, and I like to be prepared, and I just don't want to be one of those person that just like gets a podcast and is just like, I just want to like do it right.
What I'm saying is like, there was a period of time where like the business was failing us, but you were still succeeding in that side of the business. And so a lot of us had to reinvent ourselves.
Yeah.
I'd be curious with your personality and the way you take charge of things. Like a perfect example is what we were talking about earlier is I can't tell if you had that robot made for marketing purposes besides the robot. Like it's so genius. And people right now are probably going, the robot that was on Rogan? What are you talking about? Like, yeah, I couldn't really hear it. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is all the Instagram videos that are promoting your special that are fascinating, where they're doing a full plaster Paris mold of your face and your face comes out of it and you go, make shot. I'm like, oh my God, I'm sitting with Isla and she's like, play it again. And I'm like, and I go, what? She goes, she had that on her face, Dad. And I'm like, that's what I was thinking. I don't even realize you're selling me a special in that. I don't even realize it. And I'm like, okay, this is genius. And I came home like a bat out of fucking hell. And I was like, what if I buy a Cobra? What if I buy a Cobra? Right? And then I call my special Cobra. And it's all about me getting the Cobra, me learning to deal with the Cobra. The Cobra gets loose, right? And then we're chasing the Cobra in the house. What if I call this 3 wolves and it was so brilliant that I was like, whoa, that is your brain from when you sold TV shows just in today's format. And I was like, and then Leanne's like, okay. Because I know you too well to know that you are someone who is so organized and so on top of things. Leanne's like, what do you think came first, the joke or the robot? And I was like, the joke. She was like, I bet I wouldn't be surprised if Whitney looked at it and reverse engineered it and thought, you know what no one's doing is no one has one entity they can bring into every post that really draws eyes. And then the joke, and I was like, oh, no. I was there when the joke got written. No, wait, I wasn't. No, wait, I wasn't. So like, I'm curious about the robot. And by the way, the fact that we're talking about it right now, and I find it creepy, is brilliant. Is just brilliant in its essence.
And maybe it's like I'm listening to you talk about it and I'm like, God, it sounds like a really scared, insecure person that did all this.
No, it's not.
But no, I think that is part of like where the inception started. Like when I started writing jokes about sex robots, that was all I'm writing. I'm fascinated by this. I can only write about things that I get completely immersed in. Like I was just talking to a journalist who was like, you realize you talked about sex robots for 38 minutes, right? And I was like, that's so weird because I cut like 20 minutes of robot joke. I thought the whole special was just going to be about robots. Like I just got so immersed in it. And then I didn't want to talk about anything that's like in this climate, it's like you're going to get dinged about something and this group's going to come for you. And I was just like, I don't want someone fucking coming for me. Like I want to know what I'm talking about and get it from all angles so that I'm not like endorsing something that's like been proven to be like depraved or like contributing to fucking something bad. Yeah. So I went down to the factory just to really see what was up and to try to just get more jokes and like content or whatever. And when they said we can make a robot of you, it was sort of like, oh, well, this isn't going to look good. I thought it was going to look like some like hooker dead corpse. Like it was going to look all crazy, like Chucky shit, you know? And then I was like, sure, let's see. It could come on stage like as a joke or it could just be for social. Like, why the fuck not? Like to your point about what I spend money on, like that's the kind of shit I spend money on. Experiments and like experiences, you know? So that's what I spend. I don't like care about clothes or shoes or anything like, it was just like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like, I just want to learn as much about AI as possible. And so we did it, went through the whole thing. I was like, this is going to fucking suck. I'm going to look like I have Bell's palsy in this robot. This thing is look awful. Like, I never thought it would look good.
But at what point do you decide, I want to have a camera crew with me for the making of this? I want to document this.
I guess it was the first time I went down there. I was like, my reaction was like, oh shit. And it's really hard to get an oh shit out of anybody anymore. We're all so numb and desensitized.
Yeah.
I think that it's like our job as performers right now. It doesn't matter if you're funny or good. You have to get people to give a shit first. And like, no, it's just so hard to get anyone to care about anything.
That should be on a coffee mug. I'm coming out with my own line of coffee mugs. That line from Kimmy Warner, and then it is so hard to get anyone to give a shit. I look at so many kids on Instagram are posting their bits.
Yep.
And I looked at this kid the other day and I go, I just don't give a shit.
I just don't care.
It's funny, but why is that? And then I'm like, and then you can get lost and you go, well, why does anyone give a shit about me? Like, I don't give a shit about so many people.
I turned into an existential crisis. And that's why I couldn't post on Instagram for the longest time, because I was like, oh God, I feel like such a fucking narcissist. Who gives a shit? Like, this is so desperate. So I literally was just like trying to find something that I felt was interesting enough, because I don't think I'm interesting enough. Like, I'm just not. I'm sure I come off like I think that on Instagram sometimes, because I now have like hired someone to help me with Instagram because I'm so like self-conscious about it. But I was just like, how can I get something else interesting in my realm? And because I found it so fascinating and creepy and haunting, and all I cared about with this one was I want people to actually watch it, because we work our asses off for 2 years to make a special, and then it's like 50 come out in the same week, and you're just like, oh God, like I just killed myself and no one cares. And I wanted them to finish it. So that's a big issue right now with specials, is people start it, they don't finish it. You know, people, there's so much to compete with. There's so much on. As you watch, how many times have you watched the first 15 minutes of something and then been like, I'm good?
A lot of them.
A lot, right?
Yeah.
You know, not just specials, TV shows, movies, whatever. Like, there's just too many options now. So I was like, I want to put something at the end. If it's a brilliant joke, you did it with your machine joke, like something that is going to get people to get to the end of this special and make it worth an hour of their time. Because we have to earn people's time now. It used to be comedians were like the top of entertainment. It was like, you're watching a comedy special, this is the best entertainment. What else makes you laugh for an hour? No movie does that.
It's so crazy when you think about that, is that they could give you how much, I don't know, what is it, like $4 million to make a movie? I don't even know what it costs to make a movie.
Depends,
like
yeah.
$10 million to make a movie?
Yeah.
And you'll make all this work and it'll suck as a comedy.
An hour and 20 minutes that like might make you laugh a couple times. Comedy is every 20 seconds I am making you laugh. And still that's not enough for you people.
The most mediocre comedian is still better.
That's right.
Than
that's right.
the average
That's
comedy.
Right. 100%. The highest quality entertainment per second, per minute you can get. And after 15 minutes, people are still like, man, I don't know.
It's funny. I watched a Zach Galifianakis movie. I'm a huge fan of Zach.
He's the best.
And I thought...
Did you see him? He killed at Brody's funeral.
Oh, he murdered.
I mean, it was like, how are you killing at a memorial?
He murdered.
That's how funny Zach is.
It bummed me out that he doesn't do it like that anymore.
I know.
But I was like, oh... But I watched this movie with him and Owen Wilson and Kristen Wiig. Kristen Wiig. Kristen Wiig.
Hig.
I don't know why I said Hig.
The Hague?
And so it's called like bank robbers. Or they play like ridiculous charactered bank.
What's it called? Masterminds?
The Masterminds.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I would probably be more interested in the three of them sitting on a stage and talking.
That is such a fucking funny.
I would pay just as much money as I did for that if they just sat and talked.
So true. But now I think and I think this is the problem I've had, and the problem you have not had, like just in terms of entertainers, and it's happening in the you can't say that space as well, of like, if the way people watch something is changing, you have to change with them.
What do you mean?
Like the way people are consuming things is changing.
Yeah.
And like now you can go online and watch a famous person have a conversation for 2 hours and shoot the shit with their friend. Now you can't just go back to pretending to be a character for an hour and 20. Like,
it's hard.
It's you have, like, people now expect to know everything about you and to watch conversations of you shooting the shit with your friend. And if you're not giving them that, they're like, okay, I'll just move on to another entertainer who will give me that.
Yeah, that's really bizarre. I think that podcast. I remember when Seinfeld, Louis, Chris Rock, and Ricky Gervais.
I remember that HBO thing.
And everyone's like, have you seen that? And I was like, no. Now you're like, oh, I see that every week.
Yeah, what do you mean every week? I remember that being so controversial. Remember how controversial that was?
It got Louis in double trouble again.
Because he said the N-word.
It got Chris Rock in trouble for not calling him out on it.
Right, in that taping.
I find...
But I remember there was such a great moment in that where Ricky Gervais was saying that stand-up, anyone could do stand-up. And then Chris Rock just like fucking laid into him.
Ricky Gervais is pretty fascinating when you think.
He is.
He did The Office.
His podcast is amazing.
Oh.
He did one with Stephen Merchant.
Did you listen to the one that came out like 15 years ago?
No.
That was fucking amazing.
Really?
He had one.
Where he read that diary of the guy?
No, I don't. It was one of the very first podcasts ever. And he had a radio show on BBC that he released as a podcast.
Shit.
And it was before any of that medium. So there was cursing. It was loose. It was fun.
He's one of the funniest. I mean, always makes me laugh.
Yeah, I made him laugh really hard one time. It was like the highlight of my
The
career.
best feeling ever.
Yeah, I was like,
Where was it?
we were doing Jim and Sam, and I asked him if he spoke during sex because I had a theory about men speaking during sex.
What's the theory?
I don't remember it anymore. And so he said he didn't know. So he asked his girlfriend, "Do I speak during sex?" She's like, "No." And he's like, "Do you speak during sex?" I go, "No, but I don't know. I'm gonna call my wife." So I called my wife, and I was like, "Hey, babe, you're on the air with Jim and Sam. I'm with Ricky Gervais. Do I speak during sex?" And all I hear is, "Your daughters are in the car." And Ricky Gervais fucking lost it. And I was like, and he was like, "Oh no, take that back. Take that moment back." It was like really great. So, but
I
yeah.
rewatched the pilot of The English Office once every couple months.
When he says,
Very good.
I quote lines of that in my head.
It's so good.
The American Office is really great too.
It's fantastic.
Georgia just started watching that.
It's
And
excellent.
I watched it with her. I'm like, oh my God. First of all, it is problematic.
Is it?
100%.
Oh.
100.
Oh, really?
%.
I haven't watched it through. Oh, well, because they do a lot of the trying to be progressive stuff.
It's
within the show, like diversity workshops and stuff.
And they say, I mean, outright racist. I mean, stuff. Outright sexist stuff. Outright homophobic. Like, I mean, outright across the board.
Yeah.
You could not do The Office anymore. Do you think the multicam is dead?
No, I think it's more alive than ever. And it's never been dead. And the metrics and numbers just show that. I know that it's not in vogue with critics. And I mean, Friends is still the number one show, you know, and Roseanne, rest in peace. The numbers on that were crazy. Big Bang Theory is still the number one show on television.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I've never
And
seen
on
an
Netflix,
episode.
it's The Ranch does great for them. Gabriel Iglesias' show does great for them. Fuller House does great for them. Friends, Seinfeld, people, you know, I think people, I understand they're not cool anymore, and that's fine. There's lots of things that are very successful that aren't like cool to like bloggers. But I think we forget that so many kids grow up on multicams today. I don't know what they're called anymore, but like those Disney multicams, like Zack and Cody and Wizards of Waverly Place would help me. Whatever, all like.
Oh no, my daughters watch all those.
That's right. So they grow up. Kids grow up on multicams, and so they have a taste for it. And this idea that like multicams are dead is a very like inside Hollywood thing.
Do you, when you see a multicam that's like say One Day at a Time that gets canceled, do you, when you see something like that, do you go, I could fix that?
That's a funny thought to have had. No, I'm not like, let me in there. Like, you know, but I do kind of go like, ugh, bummer.
I watched the Eric Griffin's in Comedian.
What?
Yeah, Eric Griffin.
No, I know.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No, he's in One Day at a Time.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought
The
you said
pilot.
Eric Griffin's in Comedian. I was like,
No,
that's a new show?
No. He's in One Day at a Time. So I see him and I want to like it.
Yeah.
But it was so slow and
Yeah.
so meandering and so begging for laughter that didn't earn it.
Yeah,
that I was
that's
like,
the problem. And I think that, you know, and this is going to probably get me in trouble. Fine. But a lot of people that make multicams have been doing it for 30 years. So I always think if fresh blood were to go into multicams the way Gerard Carmichael did, I think you'll have good multicams on your hands. You know,
is Blackish multicam?
Is not a multicam.
Is his show Gerard's was multicam though, right?
Yes.
And it was good.
It was great. Danielle Sanchez show ran it, and she's brilliant, and she's great at making multicams good. So I think it's like, you know, and I was just talking to Dan Levy about this the other day, a friend of ours who's a comic who's making a multicam for NBC. I'm like, please direct them. There's no like young, cool multicam directors. Andy Ackerman is the best one. But he's rich, and how much longer is he going to want to even do it? So I think that making multicams, a lot of the people that make them have been doing them for a long time, and they keep doing them the same way they've always done it. I mean, like, you know, when I worked on Roseanne, forget the whole saga with her tweets and shit. Like, we worked so hard to make sure the set didn't look like a shitty multicam set. Because you look at it's like fake people, fake costumes, fake hair, fake sets, fake.
Is it the set that throws me? Because
for me, always.
Sometimes a set that's not dressed enough, I just go, it looks like a stage.
Or it looks like fucking IKEA. Like, it's just like, why do the walls look so thin? Like, people are so smart and savvy. I think the thing that's wrong with multicams is a lot of people that make multicams have this idea that Americans are stupid, and they're not. And I think that that's where we get I'm sure some are, but like I try to not operate from the place. So like the average person won't notice this. They do notice it. And
sometimes they don't recognize that they notice it.
They don't even know why.
Me. That's me where I go, there's something off, man.
You don't know what it is. So it's like I used to get in fights, not fights, but I used to be thought of as a little bit high maintenance because I would always with the props guy be like, if someone walks in the door, they need to be holding keys because these doors should be locked. When people just walk in on a sitcom and the doors just open, it feels false. It feels corny. And you might not be able to identify why you think it's false and corny or bad acting or bad writing. You might just go, that show's bad. You can't really say why. But when actors come in and their purses are empty or you see cups floating around with nothing in them, you just like start to think in the back of your mind subconsciously, like this is just cheap or like not a lot of thought went into this or something, or it just doesn't look like reality. It's not your reality. That's why Roseanne, I think, was so good is because you're like, oh, that looks like a real house that I live in. It
really did look like
the
a real
frames
house.
were mismatched. The chairs were mismatched. There were stains on the carpet, like little things that made a really big difference. Because the way multicams are lit, you see fucking everything. And it just feels like a shitty set. Hair, I go nuts over hair because like everyone's hair is like perfectly bright. It's like no one fucking looks like that first thing in the morning. Why is everyone wearing makeup?
What job would you jump into feet first right now?
No.
Like cast as an actress on a sitcom, sell your own sitcom, make your own sitcom about you.
That I have to write.
What?
Do I have to write it?
I don't know. You tell me.
Okay.
Gun for hire on like Kelsey Grammer's new sitcom or what? I don't know. Just that guy that's good that everyone wants to work with.
Kelsey Grammer?
No. I don't even know. I don't even know who's good.
Fresh reference.
Or start a movie that shoots out of this country for 8 months.
I'm going to be very honest with you, and I'm about to reveal my values. I would want to be cast in a show that I didn't make if it was good.
Really?
Like a Modern Family, like a good show. I wouldn't want to be on a bad show.
Do you think you could quiet your inner dialogue to not run the show? Because I don't think so.
I think if it was bad, it would be a horrible experience. But if it was a good show where the people were better than me or good, I'd be like, great. Like, because then I'd be able to do stand up at night. Because being an actor on a multicam, you've done it. The schedule is amazing. Being a writer or showrunner on a multicam is a tremendous amount of work and you can't do anything else.
See, I would...
Because I kind of only want to do stand up now.
Really?
Yeah.
I only want to do stand up too, but I feel like I have 3 things cooking. And I feel like
this is what Bert just did. He went, I have 3 things cooking.
I did put 4 fingers out.
What?
No, I have 4 things. But I have 3 things for real cooking.
Okay.
That I
TV
wonder,
projects?
Yeah, and I wonder if I'm not like,
because you'd be a great multicam.
I'm ultimately passionate solely about stand-up.
Yeah.
I do not know, and I'm shooting myself in the foot right now. I do not know if I could go for a month to Atlanta and shoot a movie where I'm a guy's brother-in-law who shows up and is like, enjoy that fight.
It depends on who's making it and how much marketing it's going to get. So to do some, like, the most heartbreaking, making movies is devastating. It's like everyone thinks it's so glamorous. It's like you lose money. No one makes money in movies except the top people, right? So you'll probably be making like SAG scale. You'll be making, if you go to Georgia, they might relocate you, whatever. But you work and then you put your heart into it. If you're making it, especially, I put 8 months into a movie. Every single day, maybe more than that. That's just the making of it. That's not the writing of it and stuff. And then it comes out and there's so much coming out. And every time I have something come out, there's a shooting, which is not having anything to do with me. It's just the way our news cycle is now. So like you can't even really promote something. Like you hope there's not a crazy news story that's going to eclipse it or be devastating and depressing. So it's like it comes out with kind of a... And then it's just turns into a little box on iTunes that people are like, I don't know. Like movies just aren't as rewarding. And I think as comics, like our thing is like, I want to say something and then know right away if people like it. Having to wait 2 years to find out to get a reaction is like just excruciating.
It's really hard to make. I find it very hard to write something and then have it be funny on the screen.
It's hard. And then you're relying
so
on
much harder than just telling a joke.
Totally. And then you're in your head, it's really funny. And then an actor does it and you're like, oh, that was really funny when I wrote it. Or you write something that's not funny and they make it great, which is like some people can do that. Yeah. But I think movies in general are just like, I think just the hardest part now is promoting. I mean, all your listeners probably are annoyed by a number of people who have something coming out and spend 6 months promoting something that costs them 5 days to shoot. It's like too much of this job is promoting.
My whole career is promoting. That's all I fucking do.
But you're doing stand up, so but if you're like promoting someone's movie, I don't know. It's like if it's not yours, it's just hard.
Yeah, I don't know if I could go out. I don't know. I did Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say Bert doing The Heat was great.
Yeah.
Remember, Bert was in The Heat.
By the way, The Heat is a really great.
It's such a great movie, and he's great in it. And it was a huge those are parts that are worth doing.
Yeah.
You know,
Bert. We just watched that movie the other day.
Excellent. He's hilarious.
By the way, the Zach Galifianakis movie had us laughing pretty hard too.
It's just about choosing the right ones. Like if you were going to do a big studio movie that has Sandra Bullock in it, like fucking do that.
Yeah.
But if it's something that's like going to rely on you to promote it for people to see it, that's when it gets a little bit like, oh, my followers are just going to think I'm annoying.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I would like to do multicam. I think multicam is my
best.
white whale.
There's nothing better. I think the problem with multicam is actors started doing it instead of comics. Multicams are designed for comics.
Yeah.
You know, and then like that's what we live for is that audience response. And I've been through it. Like when you cast people, you know, stage actors are really good at it and comics are really good at it. But then you have a bunch of actors all of a sudden.
Like Gina Davis.
Is she in a multicam right now?
No. I remember when she did a multicam.
Really?
I want to say she came on my talk show at the time to promote it. This was also when she was into archery. I think. And I remember her saying out loud, by the way, my memory is for shit. So if this didn't happen, I apologize. She was like, this is where the business is going. Movie stars are doing sitcoms now. And I remember this was 2000 and probably 2000. And I was like, really? And then at that moment, all movie stars started doing sitcoms.
Charlie Sheen and all that. And because you get to work 8 hours a week. Basically, it's the multicam. But you would be so good at multicam because you'll feed off the audience and you'll improvise. And it's like doing a stand-up show with.
I'd love it.
Just hire other comics, you know, to be in the show with you. You know, that I would be down for.
Yeah, I think I could do that.
Yeah, I feel like now this is turning into like a business insider. We're on Barry Katz's podcast now.
By the way, I talk so exclusively about stand-up. I'm so
love
shocked
it.
anyone listens to this podcast.
I think this is I can't believe it because I always feel like I'm being so boring on podcasts. But people come up to me and they're like, "I loved you on Bert's podcast. That was so interesting."
I think this hang is kind of like a.
It is a hang, isn't it?
It's very. I'm not a good interviewer.
Is.
Like I'm not like Leanne changed my interview skills. One day we're laying in bed. I was about to interview Adam Carolla, and she said, "What are you gonna talk to him about?" And I said, "I don't know. I'll figure it out when I get there." She goes, "No, you should probably have a few ideas just in case it like starts going south." I go, "That's been happening a lot lately." And she was like, "Yeah, you got to think of like what would you want to hear him talk about in an interview?" I go, "I want to know how much money he has." She goes, "Ask him."
You asked me the most interesting question that I think I've heard someone ask in this session, and then you blew right past it.
What was it?
You said, "Do you feel envy?"
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that is literally what I want to hear everybody talk about is if they're jealous of other people in their field, because that's the shit no one talks about.
Yeah.
And then you're like, do you feel envy? And I was like, yeah. And you're like, well, anyway.
It's so prevalent.
You have the instinct to do it.
I just don't listen very well.
Well, you're the star of this show. No one wants to hear me talk. They're here for you.
You have no idea how many people right now are by themselves on a train with headsets going, yeah, he won't let anyone else fucking talk. Like this, I love the podcast. I love Bert. I love hearing you on other podcasts, Bert. But sometimes I want to hear the person you bring in the room.
I think it's so hard for me to do podcasts because I always think I'm bombing like during the day, and I will feel like shit for 2 hours after this. Go like, that wasn't funny. You should have told a funny story. I like tear myself apart, but I think it's taken me a long time to realize like you're the star of every one of these. And I swear to God, Rogan, you, Segura, they don't tune in to hear what I have to say on your show. It's like what I'm bringing out in you that they haven't heard yet.
No, I don't think they want to. I don't think anyone thinks I'm a good interviewer. I think that they think I probably can carry on a pretty good conversation with someone, and I can be funny, and then that person can be funny, and then we both share like a good like hour and a half together, and people go, "Oh, that was good." But
I think that you're a good interviewer because there's like a impish like you just ask the thing you're actually curious about instead of going, "So when did you start comedy?" Which no one wants to fucking hear the answer to that question. It's such a boring question. Everyone asks it. It makes me so unreal. Is it harder to be a woman in comedy? get the fuck out of here. Like, you're just like, so how much money do you? You're just like, ask the first thing that comes to your head.
Well, I don't, you know what? Like, I remember hearing you tell us a lot of my questions are based off of hearing you on past podcasts. I remember one of the things I think about probably an unhealthy amount is you used to date a guy that you used to get dropped off around the corner from your car.
I'll tell you who that is when we're done.
You know, I know
the
them?
person.
Because you didn't want him to see your car.
Yeah, I was dating a guy that had less money than me, and it was right when I started making money, and I realized it was like I don't know, like people were like, you're intimidating to men, like you need to make yourself smaller. Like
you were like 28.
No, I was probably 30 when I did
30
that.
is a weird age to be a millionaire.
Is it?
Fuck yes.
Oh,
I'll
that's
tell you
wild.
why. I'll tell you why. Because it often
Uh-huh.
doesn't last.
Full MC Hammer.
The majority of 30-year-olds, if you go through the business and you look
That's a
at all the
good
people that were
point.
millionaires at 30, a lot, not all of them.
Do you think they taper off because they're like, oh, I've made money and
I think
I'm
that
gonna
their
work less
ego
hard?
gets in front of them.
Yep.
They say what they think,
Yep.
as opposed to, playing the game.
they have
and
people around them who won't challenge them?
won't challenge them. You got everything. You know everything. You're the man.
That's true.
And there are very few David Spades in this business. Adam Sandler's, like guys that have been famous since.
That's a good
drugs
point.
and alcohol.
Ben Stiller.
There's very, very few of them because in order to be that person, you got to be really interested in the work.
Can I tell you, when I started, there are some names of people that when I started were so successful, I never thought they would. I mean, literally, that's the guy to beat. That's the king. That's the fucking white Escalade, comes in the Comedy Store, goes up whenever they want. Now, I can't even tell you where they are.
And I think it's drugs, alcohol. I think it's ego.
Yep.
I think it's this town. It's pussy. It's so many different things that get in the way of it. That when you see someone like you, or like I'll tell you what. Segura said something to me that was so brilliant one time, and it is based off this. We were talking about. I said to him, if I can do this for like 4 more years, this ride on the merry-go-round of success. I get 4 more years of this ride, and then I get bucked off. I'm cool, and I can actually make it to the end of my life with money. And Segura goes, 4 more years? I just had kids. I got to do this for 20 more years. And I was like, oh, fuck. And then you think about all the people at 30 that blew up. 30 is a weird time. I was so broke at 30. The majority of 30-year-olds are penniless.
That's what I love about you. You're our Rodney Dangerfield.
I love that that my little slice of success has shown up now where I go, dude, no one expects me to be cool.
But it's also, what I love about it is it's like, it's the second you don't think you have nothing to lose that you become the most interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like, that is, I think when I could not have been more broke when I wrote a TV show that people cared about, wrote those roast jokes that got me on the roast. Like, that's when I think you're at your best, and then you become solvent and a lot of your problems get solved. And then the struggle is stay interesting, even though you don't have a ton of conflict in your life.
Oh, and I think it's so much easier in your 40s as a man to be Bill Burr, Rogan, all these guys that really blossomed in their 40s.
That's about when we get interesting.
I think so. I think so. And then you look at, some people that blow up very
Howard
young.
Stern, even when he started, it's like if he had been single and 20, that show wouldn't have worked.
It's hard to hear a young man talk about life.
Who cares?
What
do you know?
Yeah, and I remember when Bill was like 44, he was just, by the way, that's like 6 years ago. He was murdering on stage.
Murdering.
I remember thinking, if I could, I just turned 40. I was like, dude, if I could be at 44 where he is, I'd be so happy. He had sold out. I think he had sold out the DC Improv 3 months in advance. He had sold all his tickets. I was like, dude, get me there. I remember being like, give me. And then I was like, I don't know. I still have a lot to learn. But I think to come back to the envy point, I don't have a lot of envy. My envy comes, I think, mostly at you get to be at the party longer than me. I look at D'Elia and I go, God, he's so young. Like, how cool would it be to just be young again? Like, to be like him and his brother, like young. They, they like. No, I'm not saying I'm
40.
old, but like
39, 40.
yeah, but like it's like he hasn't had kids yet. He has to experience that for the first time.
Yeah,
he hasn't. I mean, I don't know what.
But I think that there's something awesome. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
Did I interrupt
please.
you? No, I think there's something because I'm jealous of you because I'm like, oh, I wish I had kids before all this.
No. See, that's okay. Right now, I'm at the bottom of my ice cream, going like, looking at you, going, you haven't even gotten your spoon yet. And I'm just like,
and I'm like, oh fuck, you just ate all that ice cream. Like
it's so cool to look at Bill, Joe, Tom, all my friends that have just had kids, and now Joe's are almost an age as mine.
Yeah.
But and he's has an older one, but Joey's daughter starting 3rd grade.
Joey is truly. I am both proud and annoyed that I am scared to follow him on stage. He is the only comedian that I've truly been like, hey, do you want to go next? Like, I literally was like, dude, he was at the store a couple months ago and I was just like running new shit and the building was shaking.
He is.
I started stretching.
So
I literally started stretching. I was like, oh God, okay. Like, I was sweating balls.
He is.
I had to reset the room.
Out of this world.
I went on, it was not going great. And I had to be like, okay, I miss Joey too. Like, we had to like talk through it. And I had to reset the room. And I had to be like, you guys, he had just run like a half hour for Netflix. So he wasn't up there 15 minutes. He was up there a half hour.
Yeah.
Like, people were like post-coital, like delirious. And they were so bummed that he was gone that we had.
I tell a Joey Diaz story when I follow him. I go, I love Joey. This is my favorite Joey Diaz story. And I'll tell a Joey
I'm going to
Diaz
start
story.
doing a set just about Joey Diaz if I follow him because that's all anyone wants to talk about.
I'm telling you.
Did you know Joey back in the day?
No, I didn't know
See,
Joey. I knew
did I.
Joey when he was like the guy he is today.
See, I never knew him back in the day. I'm just
no. Every time I follow him, I tell one of two stories. One of my favorite Joey Diaz stories ever. This is one of my favorite Joey Diaz stories ever. My dad loves Joey Diaz. Joey introduced my dad to marijuana. Joey, everyone's heard this story. I don't give a fuck. It's my favorite Joey Diaz story. Joey Diaz, my dad texted me one morning. He's flying to LA. My sister's about to give birth. He goes, I'm on the flight with Joey D. And I go, what? And he goes, we're going to change seats at sit next to each other. I go, do not eat whatever he gives you, Dad. And he goes, I'm good. So I don't hear anything from my dad.
Oh, fuck.
He lands in Delta. He's coming down that glass escalator in the new terminal they're in. They're in a new terminal. It's like a glassed in elevator escalator. And my dad's shaking his head. He's got his little Toomey roller bag shaking his head. I go, what's the matter? And he goes, oh, fucking moron. I sat next to a goddamn moron. I go, you didn't switch seats? He goes, no. Some fucking idiot next to me wouldn't switch seats. And Joey's guy wouldn't switch seats, so we didn't sit next to each other. I said, really? He goes, yeah, a fucking idiot, Bert. This guy was a fucking idiot. He played video games on his phone the whole time. Sat in first class, played video games. What kind of grown man who sits in first class doesn't pull out a newspaper or a magazine or a book or write down a thought? Just played Candy Crush the whole fucking flight. Joey Diaz is coming down the escalator, laughing hysterically. I can hear him through the glass wall. Comes out the other side, and I go, Joey, what's up? And he's like, dog, your dad sat next to John Cena. John Cena comes down the escalator playing Candy Crush. Swear to God, I could not stop fucking laughing. Joey Diaz is, dog, your dad sitting next to John Cena. I could not stop laughing.
That is so good. It almost sounds like it's not true.
I have so many great Joey Diaz stories because, there was a period of time right when they had Mercy where he would just, I think I'm speaking out of school and I don't like doing that for my friends, but I think Joey was at a loss of parenting and like him. And
I think he'd be the first to.
Yeah. And he'd be like, dog, what are you doing? I'd be like, me and the girls are in the front yard. We're out here just in the grass. He's like, I'll be over at 5. And him and Terry and Mercy would come over and just sit in the front yard. The girls would play with Mercy. I mean, they love Mercy.
Aww.
And so, but yeah, Joey's the fucking greatest.
Yeah, he's been so nice to me and so kind and has given me such fucking good advice. And I think people forget that, like, even when you might have achieved some things, you still need advice, And he's been one of the people that he'll just give it to me. And I'm so grateful because I feel scared asking.
I ask for advice.
You're good about that, huh?
I have no problem asking for advice. But I have stopped asking for advice I've stopped because I found that sometimes I was asking for advice in times of need when I just wanted someone to talk to.
Oh, interesting.
Like I didn't need, like I would go, hey, what do you think about this? And then I thought I'd hear them. And halfway through I go, actually, I'm not going to do what they tell me.
No, I just kind of needed
I just wanted to
have a beer with someone.
Yeah, I wanted to have a talk.
Well, guys, it's so funny because I see with my fiance, like he'll meet a guy that like should be friends with, and then he's like, so how do I, like how guys become friends? I don't know.
I just said this the other day on a podcast. There should be an app like Tinder where you can make friends.
I know. I tried to make that.
You know, I became friends with an older Jewish man, Marty. We played tennis every single day. Because we played tennis, we started becoming friends.
How else would you? But then you can't. I mean, I found him being like. I mean, it was a guy that's dating someone I know, and him got along like fireworks. And he's like, I don't know, I don't feel like I can't text him. I'm like, I'll put you on a group chain. And he's like, well, maybe I'll just like start going to the gym he goes to. And I'm like, this is like bizarre.
You're overthinking.
Yeah, it's just sort of like you got to go play tennis with this guy to hang out with Marty.
You got it. Yeah, I started playing tennis with this guy Marty, and then I'd tell him something, and then. You know, throughout his day, something he'd come across, something he'd text me, thought you'd like this, homo. And Marty never said that, by the way. I'm just trying to make it colloquial and fun and loose. I don't want anyone to know who Marty is and go, are you homophobic? Although he's like a 70-year-old man. I wouldn't be shocked to be. Anyway.
I feel like I might know this guy. I feel like I might have gold digged him when I first moved to LA.
Oh, he
just fell on desperate times.
No, he was, but that's how you become friends. There should be an app where you put in all your interests and they're like, yo, you match up with these guys.
Yeah, like you fish, you do this, you whatever.
The problem is if you're famous, people are willing to become your friends and forgive you for things that you would never forgive a friend for.
Yeah. Have you lost any friends since you've been famous?
Oh.
Yeah.
Like
such a bummer.
And I'm not even like famous, but like I get recognized a lot. I've had people try to be my friends.
And here's the other thing with you. It's like you're not, it's like you're famous, but also the people that know you live for you. I am
a lifestyle brand in the sense that if you are my friend, your lifestyle, the worth of your lifestyle increases because I want to party all the time.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you're in my chain and you're like, and I like shit like going out to play golf or doing a triathlon or doing a Tough Mudder.
But people know you. I mean, it's just like there's this thing now where it's like people have either never heard of you or they know what you had for breakfast. Like there's no in between. So
That's
it's like
really interesting.
If people see you in public, like if people see certain celebrities in public, they're like, oh, there's that guy.
I wish I had thought about that. That's a great
If people
premise.
see you, they're like, that's Bert Kreischer. Holy fuck, the machine. Take your shirt off. It's like a whole thing, you know?
The real estate agent today said to me as we walked in, he goes, I'm a bigger Segura fan, just so you know.
That's my biggest pet peeve is when, because you're a comic, people feel the need to be mean to you. Like, because they think it's funny. That's the story of my life. I see a rat. Is that okay?
Where?
There's a rat. Like
going into the chicken coop?
Oh, there's two climbing in the chicken coop.
Yeah, they're going after the chicken food. Yeah, we can't stop them.
They're kind of awesome.
Yeah, if you don't have a problem with rats.
I don't. Rats are actually really smart. I just didn't know if I should tell you.
No. Or
do you see him crawling? How cute. He's really cool, actually. I'm a big fan. Rats are smart.
I gotta get you out of here. You gotta do Santino's podcast.
This is getting ridiculous.
I could talk to you forever.
I know.
Hopefully, I'll get a sitcom and
yes, please cut out the boring parts. Please. Begging you.
Just cut out that guy's name. Stop.
How do we know that we both know that person?
Let's end the podcast and I'll walk
I thought
you
we
out.
were done. Oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Ladies
shit.
and gentlemen, watch her special.
I love you.
Force her to do a podcast. You should do a
try.
podcast.
I'm going to try.
You're absolutely amazing. I'm glad.
I love you.
I'm glad that I.
Would it be annoying if I had a podcast? I feel like it's
No, don't overthink it. Don't overthink that. Just do it.
Okay.
Just do it. And by the way, don't promote it. Put it out. Let it suck for fucking
such good advice.
30 episodes.
30
Let
years.
it just suck for 30 weeks and just do it. Don't promote it.
Yeah.
Don't promote it. Don't ask Rogan to be on it. Like, let us do it. We'll all do it. We'll have fun with it. If you want it to be by yourself, do it by yourself.
I do want to text Rogan, hey, will you do my podcast? And just see what he says.
He'll say yes.
Not a serious question.
But it'll blow your podcast up. The problem is you're never going to live up to that Rogan interview again because everyone loves Joe. Joe's so fascinating.
Yeah.
He's got so many things he can talk about. And just do it and let it suck for like 30 episodes. And let it figure out what it is.
And let people find it.
Yeah, and let you find it.
Yeah,
like
that's
you need
such
to find it personally and artistically and see if you love it. Because if you do 30 episodes, you're like, this isn't really it's wasting my time. I'm not loving
That's
it.
a good
Then you
idea.
can walk away from it, and no one's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
But if you go out and you go sign a deal with a network and do a big splash, you go out and promote it, and then 10 episodes in, you're like, I don't even know what the fuck this is.
Yeah.
You know, that's my 2 cents.
That's really fucking good advice.
I'm very glad that I went to a football game with Tony Hernandez and Lily, his wife, and that we decided to put a picture of you and your horse on the Jumbotron
forgot about that.
at the game. And I'm glad that
I'm glad I reached out to Rogan going, I feel like Bert's bullying me. I thought you were making fun of my face or something.
Joe called me. He's like, dude, you're not fucking with Whitney, are you? And I was like, no, I love her. And he was like, okay. That's what I thought.
I'm sorry.
You need to reach out to her. No, but I'm
overreacted.
glad that happened because I've had you in my life these last 3 years because of that. And I'm really happy.
Because I think I was like, so like all I've ever wanted, and we have to wrap this up. Everyone's like, God, Jesus already. I all I've ever wanted was to just like have the comic. Like I just love comics. And when I think a comic doesn't like me, I'm like, what the fuck did I do wrong? Like, I'm sorry. My face looks like this. I feel bad. I'm sorry. I'm forcing you to make fun of me because this is my shiny ass face. Like, and I think I was just like so paranoid because so many people had like come for me and I didn't know why. And then I was like, oh no, I thought Bert and I were like,
no,
good. So I was just scared.
I'm glad that awkward moment happened because I have been a lot closer with you than a lot of comics. I've texted with you. We've gone back and forth on Instagram talking about photos.
I feel like I text you a lot, and sometimes I'm like, I'm texting him too much.
You never can text me too much. You can never text me. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll read your text to the table. Like I'll be with Lana and the girls, and I'll read the text. Isla goes, "Is that the pig lady?" I go, "Yes, the pig lady." When are we gonna touch that pig?
I love that when I thought you were calling me horse face, I didn't like it, but your daughter calls me pig lady. And
yeah,
that's
the
totally
pig lady. You mean the pig lady got blackmailed? I go, yeah.
Pig lady got blackmailed.
Can I get blackmailed? You
No.
ever take a picture of your breast?
No. Crop your head out.
No. Why would you do that? I was like, keep that in your fucking head.
Crop your head out.
Crop your
Do
head
the damn thing. Do the crop.
Hey.
I'm going to go hang out with these rats. Look how cool.
Let's go see him. All right. Thank you for doing this.
All right. I love you.
I love you too.